to discuss with them, because as you mentioned, we are working on this model, and you also associate with us in development of the model for Uri River Basin. So we have extensively worked for this on this project under Type Act. It is funded by DST. So actually, another thing, I have got good opportunity during this type of program to meet with actual developer Vishal Mehta and all these things, because Vishal Mehta is one of the developer of VIP model, and also there is presently there is some energy issues happening with us, and under climate change we have challenge to reduce our emissions, and so we have to find different energy options. So these are very important solution, because VIP model, the importance of VIP model, we can engage number of stakeholders during decision process, and also we can apply our science in this model. So it is a very unique type of model. So we today's lecture we will try to analyze the capabilities and what we can do with these VIP models. I'm not today. I'm not presenting you what research they have done with VIP model, but more or less I will discuss with you what type of modeling tools available in VIP, and what we can do with these VIP models, what type of data we require before we start any project in these models. So I will start my sharing my presentation. If you have any problem, directly you can raise hand or you can speak to me. You can in between you can tell anything, no problem. So I am sharing my screen. It is visible. Is it visible?
No, sir. I think this is coming. Yeah, it came.
So good morning, everybody. Myself, Ravindra Kale, and wish you happy Diwali to all of you. I assume that you have enjoyed Diwali yesterday. So we will talk. Today's talk we will talk on introduction to the water evolution and planning tool for water resource planning and management. So this is the content of my talk today. We will talk on water trace faced by India under climate change, water resource management concept, then water resource allocation modeling challenges and models, available models, then why we should use water evolution planning system for water resource management and planning, then introduction to VIP system, VIP capabilities, VIP for vulnerabilities, what VIP can compute for us, the VIP approaches, the capability of enhanced VIP models, then how to install VIP model and modeling framework, advantages and limitations, model structure, minimum system requirement, VIP model overview, and the step for setting up simple VIP models. And at the end, if time permits, I will show the case study, how we collected data for Uri River watershed, and some result also I will show. So this is about content. So first we will discuss about water trace faced by India, and we already know that India is presently facing the problem of water trace, and this is because decades of population growth, uncontrolled urbanization have created a water crisis in our country, and this is a report of the 3-4 years back, and at that time our population was 1.2 billion, but now it is around more than 1.3 billion, and already 54% of the country faces high to extremely high water trace, and this is water trace in different regions based on baseline water trace, and some area faces 80% water trace in country, and more than 100 million people live in area with poor water quality. That means not only the water quantity, but also water quality also a great problem for us, and in coming future this problem is going to be a great challenge for us to maintain our economy and high standard of living. We should focus on this point very seriously. And also it is observed that water level in more than half of the, that is 4,000 groundwater wells is decreasing. And these are observations from central groundwater boards. And national supply predicted to fall by 50% below the demand by 2030. And already we are facing this problem because, also government has started a new program to provide water by tap to every household. So these are the various serious challenges we, as an engineer, we have to face. And when we talk about 54% water trace in India, we know that 60% of the country is drought prone, 50% people exposed to drought, 68% of sowing area is subjected to drought, and about 75% of annual rainfall is concentrated in 100 to 120 days of southwest monsoon. And during climate change, this situation going to be very worse in near future, because recent report of IPCC report number 6, it is clearly mentioned that with high confidence they have mentioned that number of rainy days are going to reduce, and this is very alarming for us to, and very challenging to maintain our water resources. Then 35% area received rain between 750 to 1,125 millimeter, and this area is considered as a drought prone area. About 33% region in India receives less than 750 millimeter of rain and is chronically drought prone. Yeah, here we can see that around 65 to 70% area is drought prone area. So we, when we talk about managing water at country level, then we can get how managing our water resources efficiently and very with innovative way, how much it is important we can get from this slide. And what is the impact on water resources? Because we know that presently around 85.3% water is we are using for irrigation, and ultimately this sector is very important sector for securing our food needs. And in coming futures, irrigation or agriculture sector is going to be traced more as compared to the another sector, and that has the impact directly on our food security. Then for domestic we require 6.3% water, other uses we require 6.5%, for industry 1.3%. And this is water trace. I am talking about water trace, how much water trace on different sectors. So here we can clearly get one thing, that irrigation is most important sector of our focus, and we require a lot of innovations and new ways of management to manage water in irrigation sector as compared to other sectors. So just we will see how climate change is going to impact our water resource system. And climate change is considered as a hydrological change. So we know that due to climate change, sea level will rise, and more coastal it will cause more coastal erosion, saltwater intrusion into coastal freshwater aquifers, and seawater acidification. These are the challenges we are going to face in more aggressive ways. Then due to this climate change or warming of weather, there will be more evapotranspiration, drier vegetations and soil, more frequent and severe drought, increased wildfire and area burn, reduce the stream flows. And this is very important to consider this from point from hydrological point of view. Then due to climate change, more intense storm with more flooding and extreme winds going to happen with high confidence. Then less precipitation in some areas, more other areas, greater interannual variability. Then more rain and less snow melts sooner in springs. Then glaciers are reduced or eliminated, increase high elevation erosion, increase reliance on groundwater for basic supply, and then earlier spring runoff, larger flood peak, less summer stream flow, smaller headwater stream network, and water in stream and lake become warmer. And this is a very important point for managing our ecosystem, like fishes and all these ecosystem. It is also important for environment, and we require to manage this water stream. Temperature is also important because it also alters the water quality. Then we know that climate change is often impact the society through water more frequently, and more frequently extreme weather events, that is more droughts and flood going to happen. shifting precipitation pattern, then potential for major impact on agriculture, impact on energy infrastructure. Sea level rise has a dramatic consequences for land use, global mean temperature prospectus, and all these points ultimately alter our food, energy, and water nexus. And as a scientist, we should concentrate in detail on these points. Then see in this 21st century, RCP 8.5 mentioned that our temperature will rise up to 4.8 degrees centigrade in next 80 years. And a recent report of IPCC, it mentioned that temperature will rise in next 12 years by 1.5 degree or 2 degree with high confidence. So we require not only manage our water resources, but manage our carbon emission through our improved agriculture practices. So in this case also, our water resource management is very important. So this slide is showing the future water trace projection, and it ultimately shows that by the next 30 or 50 years, India will face high water trace. Then after getting into this point, ultimately there is some research question in our mind, that is, how do climate change and variability impact water scarcity in the basin? Then how much of water demand is currently made, and how does future expansion affect the water demand satisfaction? Then what can be done to meet the rapidly growing water demand? That means efficient allocation and risk mitigations. So this is a generally cycle, and how to mitigate the risk of water scarcity. So we require to answer this question, we require some solid model which can solve our processes, and also we can involve number of stakeholders into it. So which methodology we can use to risk scaling these things? So first we require to identify water related risk in the basins. For example, drought driven water scarcity, food shortage, and demand growth, or what is supply. All this information we must first require identify our water related risk in the basin. Here basin is hydrological basin, hydrological unit. We are talking about hydrological unit. Then next we require define desirable threshold value. That means, for example, minimum water requirement for domestic use or agriculture, or maximum groundwater abstraction. How much groundwater we can abstract? Because extracting excess of groundwater also cause contamination of groundwater, and also there is a water risk, water security risk in the future. So all these points we require to keep in our mind. Then third point is identify climate and demand condition that may lead to identified risk. So we require here detailed knowledge about the climate change, and how this climate change going to alter our demand condition and supply condition, and ultimately to our risk. Like when the temperature increases here, and there is change in precipitation. If change in precipitation is in negative way, then there is high risk of water scarcity. And when there is a due to increase in temperature, our precipitation increase, there is high risk of flood. And due to flood, there is a high risk of economical damages. So we control both the condition, drought and flood condition, during our water management. And the fourth point is informed decision around risk mitigation. For example, improved agriculture practices, water shortage, reducing water loss. These point we should keep in mind while designing any water resources management and planning system, and incorporating policy. So what is our aim for water resource management? It is aimed at optimizing the available natural water flow to satisfy competing needs while ensuring that quality is not compromised. Because we here talk about quantity of water as well as quality of water, because both these are quantity and quality are very important in ensuring the water resources for different uses. Then key principle in the water resource management are: water and sanitation sector is affected by water use in other sector. Then there are potential positive and negative impact of all water uses. And the third point is there is need for holistic view to ensure equitable and efficient water use. Then we will talk about traditional water supply management. Traditionally, we generally focus on supply driven water management. Traditional supply water management mainly we focus on water needs are we assume that water needs are requirements that must be met and not the demands. And because we know that demand are changeable, then new facilities and structure are developed using available sources to meet perceived increasing water needs. Here we mostly concentrate on supply management of supply water management. Then traditional approach has led to overuse of resources, capitalization, pollution, and other problems of varying severity. And old paradigm of designing water supply with little attention to demand determinant, pricing structure, and financial policy is not sustainable. And nowadays, you have heard that we are talking about global achievement of global sustainable development goal by 2030, and our is also one of the member country. India is also one of the member country in this sustainable global sustainable development goal, and we also committed for this. So now we require to go for water rather than water supply management to water demand management. Then what is water demand management? Water demand management approach places water demand themselves, not structural solution, at the center of concern. And then this water demand management recommends the development of large capital intensive structure only after possible option for lowering or mitigating the proposed demand have been fully analyzed. And then water demand management and conservation represent the cheapest form of easily available water, particularly in the areas where additional demands are being placed on water resources which are already stretched to their limit. So as compared to our water supply management, water demand management is very important, and WIP model is basically based on water demand management rather than water supply management, because our main concept behind this is our water resources are limited. So based on demand, we should manage our water resources. This is the basic concept in development of this model. Then how we can achieve this water demand management? Then we can increase the system efficiency, we can increase end use efficiency, we can promoting distributed resources of supply, substitute resources of use. Then that means we can use number of resources to meet the demands. Like we can meet demand from groundwater, tap water, or we can find another resources, water resources, to meet our demands. And then we can improve the market on resource uses. We can use some financial aid to improve our water demands. Then what is the concept behind water management modeling? As I talked, when we talk about water management modeling, there are three important parameters. One is water quantity, water quality, seasonality of flow, and how it can be regularized. So as we have seen, there is very high demand of water from agriculture. Then we require water for energy. We require water for meeting out natural needs. Then we require water to meet out our different domestic needs. Then we require water for our industry and maintain our economy or progressing our economy for our well-being. Then we require water for creating recreation facilities. And then we require water for navigations. These are different sectors. And we, in our water management modeling, we must consider all these things in holistic way. Then when we talk about water management model, then what is the critical questions? The first question is, there is a great difference in availability of water from region to region, with extreme cases in desert. That means drought prone area, there are very much variability of water. And our question is, so how to manage these distributed resources in efficient way? Then our next question is how to allocate water to computing different uses. Then our question is how to best operate water infrastructure, like how we can operate our dams, diversion work, canals, and all these things. Then our water allocation, operation rules, and constraints should adjust to new management directives. Then how to jointly manage water for irrigation and energy requirement. And this, in present scenario, management of water for meeting our energy needs is very important. And then who benefit the most from using water at a given time and location? This is also very important. Then how should the benefit of water project be spread through a basin? And but we should understand that scarcity in the amount of water call for efficient water management. So how we can develop our models, how we can imagine different water demands and supply basis on this. That means how efficiently we manage our water resources. This question can be addressed very efficiently. Then what is the challenges in water supply? We have challenges of head flow, groundwater, and soil moisture, maintaining all these waters. Then reach gain and losses, return flow, multiple reservoir operations, and from water demand side, we have challenges in river flow versus population and industrial needs. Then we have challenges in projecting these demands. Then challenges in consumptive versus non-consumptive use, and there is maintaining the environmental needs. Then when we talk about delivery targets and water allocation priorities, by purpose urban demands before environmental, how to give priority, whether we first meet out urban demands or we provide focus on environmental needs. So these are sometimes challenging issues when we by location, whether upstream, downstream, or area should be given priority. You must know that when we release water in canal, these problems happens, whether we have to provide more water to upstream area or downstream area, how riparian area will get water. So these are challenging in maintaining delivery targets and water allocation priorities. Then there are another aspect is water laws, because as a society we have developed number of water laws to maintain and distribute our water resources. So main challenges are first how to prioritize first in time and first in right. Then water rights are property that can be bought, sold, and leased. All rights are processed through water code. Many senior water rights are from agriculture. Upstream users do not necessarily have more senior rights. And then multi-jurisdictional rivers, like our river going through different states, and we know that water is a state subject. So we face a number of these problems between interstate rivers. You already know that. Then next point is what modeling software we can use for this water allocations. So first, allocation of limited water resources, environmental quality, and policy for sustainable water use are issue of increasing concern. And over the last decade, an integrated approach to water development has emerged, which places water supply projects in the context of demand side issue, water quality, and ecosystem preservations. So when we talk about water allocations model, there are a number of models have been developed, and some of the models I have listed here. Like there is a river-ware model is there, and it is developed by University of Colorado, and this is river and reservoir operation model. Then reservoir system simulation, it is well known, also popularly known as HEC racing, and it is developed by US Army Corps of Engineers Hydrological Engineering Center, that is HEC. Then another very popular model is river basin management decision support system, that is MOSD model, that is again developed by Colorado State University. And another important model is water evaluation and planning system, and we will talk in this lecture on these WIP models. And this is developed by Stockholm Environment Institute, USA. And then there is another important package is water right analysis package, that is WRAP, and this is developed by Texas Water Resource Institute. And if you want to show number of models, you can go on this site and you can check these models. Only thing is that there are too many models, and one may get confused by too many choices. Which model we should use? So I tried to give answer to this question here. So first question in our mind, why we should use WIP? though because WEAP contains software tool for integrated water resource planning. Because most of the models we have seen in earlier slide, these are concentrated on particular scheme, but WEAP is a tool for integrated water resource planning and management. It is user-friendly framework for planning and policy analysis. And WEAP model basically work on water balance concept. And water balance database, we provide a system for maintaining water demand and supply information. And in WEAP model, there is one important tool is there, that is scenario generation tool. And that tool simulate water demand, supply, runoff, stream flow, storage, pollution generation, treatment, and discharge, and stream water quality. And another main aspect of this WEAP model, it is a tool mostly designed for policy purpose. And when we talk about management of water resources, we should always talk about policy, because water is need of all, and we all should manage water resources. So every stakeholders like users, then engineers or engineers like us who are providing solution, and then policy making people are also important. So it is policy analysis tool is very important, because when these stakeholders, then creator like us, engineers and policymaker involved in this process, then only we can efficiently manage our water resources. So in short, we will see the highlights of these WEAP models. So as I mentioned, this is integrated approach, and this is unique approach for conducting integrated water resource planning and assessment, also management. Then another aspect of WEAP model is stakeholder processes. Already I have mentioned about this, because transparent structure facilitate engagement of diverse stakeholders in an open process. Then this model is based on water balance, because in water management we should focus on water balance, and WEAP model has a database that maintains water demands and supply information to derive mass balances models on link and node architecture. Then there is a simulation based approach is there, and in WEAP model we can calculate water demands, supply, runoff, infiltration, crop requirements, requirement, flow and storage, and population generation, treatment, discharge, and in-stream water quality under varying hydrologic and policy scenario. And not only we can make hydrological calculation in these WEAP models, but we can incorporate the results, outflow of other hydrological models like SWAT model, VIC, or WebDHM, any sophisticated hydrological model. You can take output of these models. You can use output of this model in WEAP models, because I will mention in further slides. Because it is in WEAP model, they are mainly focusing on management side. So some hydrological models, they kept very simple hydrological models, but somebody want to use the result of very sophisticated or very physically based distributed model. That result also we can use in these WEAP models. Then another aspect of this WEAP is policy scenario. It evaluates a full range of water development and management options, and take account of multiple and competing uses of water system. And another important aspect of it provide user-friendly interface. It has very good graphical user interface, and by using this GUI, we can graphical drag and drop GIS layers based output of this model to different platform in GIS platform or web also. We can take output of this WEAP model. So after this highlight, let us talk about water evolution and planning system WEAP model in more detail. And we see the brief history of this WEAP model. This WEAP model is first developed in 1992 by Stockholm Environment Institute, and with many aim to bringing science and policy in practice. Then WEAP 21 version is developed in 2005, and also this year also WEAP model has come with number of options, number of methodologies, number of scenario they have incorporated into it. And in this WEAP model, key model development steps are: draw the system schematic, then identify data for system components, enter data, and run the model. So my voice is visible on my screen and voice is audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, audible.
Do you have any problem?
No, sir.
If anybody some question, you can ask, because you are not visible to me. So if there is some question in your mind, we can discuss. So we will see the introduction to water evolution and planning system model. It is a microcomputer tool for water resource planning, and this WEAP model work on basic principle of water balance. And it is a generic, objective-oriented, programmable, and integrated water management, resource management modeling platform. And it implements an integrated approach, placing supply project in the context of demand-side issues, quality, and ecosystem preservations. And main aspect of this WEAP model, WEAP allows user to implement 40P analysis. That means if something happen, what will be the impact on water management and supply? That type of question also WEAP can answer. Then WEAP is applicable to municipal agriculture system, single subbasins, and complex river system. And here is the main point: WEAP model is advanced than another models, because another models only can take some component of resource management, but WEAP model can integrate all the aspects of water management into one package, and it can also give answer to our different questions, 40 type questions. Then WEAP is applicable to, it uses a modern graphic user interface and a robust solution algorithm to solve the water allocation problem. This is a semi-distributed continuous time and deterministic models. That means it is based on node, based on link and node property. And issue like other hierarchical model, it is not distributed or cell by cell. It is not routing the processes route by cell, but rather it is based on link and nodes concept. But so hierarchical model integrated with this in the WEAP model are conceptual rainfall runoff models. And when we talk about conceptual rainfall runoff model, these are not much efficient rainfall runoff model. But yes, when we use monthly or year time step, then conceptual model can give conceptual rainfall runoff model give good results. But when we want to manage our water sales at a daily or sub-daily basis, we can use other sophisticated physically based distributed hydrological models output. Then it can incorporate earlier groundwater model, like results from water flow also we can incorporate in these models. And it can also incorporate output from other water quality model like Pulp 2K. Then main advantage of this model is it is based on integrated water resource planning system, and basic methodology incorporated in this model is physical simulation of water demands and supply, then additional simulation modeling, user created variable and modeling equations. We can create our own variable, own equations, like some empirical equation we can develop for our water set or basin, and we can use this equation directly in our models. And this is one of the unique features of these WEAP models. Then, as already mentioned, the WEAP model based on scenario it has a scenario management capabilities, and this model we can link to spreadsheet and other models. So we will talk about the different approaches incorporated in WEAP model. Then integrated and comprehensive planning framework, and it has a scenario analysis component, demand management capability, it take into account environmental effects, and it is very easy to use, and we can plan urban water management with this WEAP models. So what is the capabilities of this WEAP models? WEAP model is high level planning and strategic analysis at local, national, and regional scale. and it is based on demand management, and it basically for water allocation tool. And the limitations of this WIP model is with WIP model we cannot do daily operations like management. We can do at monthly scale, but some operation, daily operation, we cannot do with these WIP models, and it is a least cost optimization of supply and demand. So it is basically optimization tool. Then in recent WIP model, they have incorporated number of capabilities like infiltration and inflow. They have incorporated in this model. Then infiltration basin and retention pond they have incorporated, and they have incorporated number of advanced tools for geographical user interface, and water pricing and all this combined sewer overflow. All these operation we can carry out with this WIP model. And then our next question is, what WIP can compute for us? So WIP, first important thing, WIP compute for us is sectoral demand. And sectoral demand like analyze optimal water use within water management system as a result of changing demand and supply scenario, and basically allocate water to different sectors. Then we can use WIP model to compute our water conservation use. That means if we have to plan some conservation structures, so we can use this model where we can plan our water conservation structures and how we can manage these water resources, or we can modify our groundwater levels. So for water conservation practices also we can use these WIP models. Then defining water rights and allocation, defining allocation priorities, it is very important and efficient tool. Then groundwater and stream flow simulation we can carry out with these WIP models by incorporating other model also. And major aspect is reservoir operation and release, and these aspects also we can this aspect is also taken care by these WIP models. Then hydropower generation and energy demands, we can see scenario about how much hydropower we can generate, or how our climate change is going to impact our this hydropower generation or energy demands. We can generate scenario for different different aspects also. Then pollution studies we can carry out these WIP models. Then ecosystem requirement like e-flow, because when we talk about any project, then e-flow is very important, because getting clearance for any water resource project, we require compute e-flow to get environmental clearances. So we can compute this aspect with use of these WIP models also. And another aspect of project development is benefit cost analysis. And for development of any new water resource project, we can compute cost benefit ratio using these models for planning any scheme or any project in the future. So for that aspect also, WIP model is very useful. Then analyze the impact of population growth or climate change on demand and supply equilibrium, and this is a very important question in the context of climate change. So this number of question can be answered by WIP. So WIP model we can use for vulnerability studies. Like alternative baseline scenario can examine vulnerability of water supply to different demographic, technological, and climatological and hydrological features. And not only vulnerability study, we can use this model to plan different adaptation measures. Like alternative policy scenario can explore demand and supply management option for adapting to future vulnerabilities. Implication for the multiple and competing demands on water system. Implication of policy can be evaluated. That is ability to meet water needs, hydropower availability, pollution loading, cost, different aspect we can, different problem we can solve with use of this WIP model. Then, based on what if scenario, what question WIP can answer. That is, what scenario analysis we can do with these WIP models. And we should know that scenarios are used to explore the model with an enormous range of what if question, because we have number of what if type question in our mind, and some major question are, what if the population growth and economic development pattern change? what it will impact our water resources, that is our supply and demand. Then what if reservoir operating rules are altered? Then there is question of what if groundwater is more fully exploited? What if water conservation is introduced? What if ecosystem requirement are tightened? What if a consumptive use program is established to store excessive surface water in underground aquifers? And what if water recycling program is implemented? What if more efficient irrigation technique is implemented? What if the mix of agricultural crop changes? What if climate change alter demand and supply? And how does pollution upstream affect downstream water quality? How will land use change affect runoff? And here we can see the overview of a different system. And you, beside this question also, you can get number of questions, and these questions are very important when planning decision support system for water resource management. Because when there are number of questions in your mind, and you try to solve these questions, and believe me, this WIP model can answer number of questions coming to your mind while managing this DSA system. And this is the most important aspect of WIP models, because when you are a policymaker, you focus on how you can manage your water resources, maintain supply and demand in efficient way. They have different questions in their mind. As an engineer or scientist, we have different questions in our mind. And as a stakeholder or consumer or user, they have different questions in their mind. So we can answer a lot of questions, and it is mainly the system is designed to answer these questions, which are very important in digital support system in case of water resource management. So you got this point? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
We should give break because it is 11, almost 11. You require break of 5 minutes? Hello?
No, sir. Please continue.
Because already 1 hour now.
Yeah, there is a question in chat box from Amit Raj. What are the opportunities we can explore WEAP model for rainfall runoff, sweat modeling of catchment of for 2100 years?
In 21st century, na?
Yes, sir.
That aspect I will cover in next slides.
Okay.
Because they are talking about how we can use sweat model output in our WIP models.
Yes, sir.
So in next slide, I will show how we can use this sweat model output to see the water supply solutions in 21st century. That I will answer.
Okay, sir.
Then we'll briefly talk about advantages and limitations of this WIP model. Advantage is excellent GIU, graphical user interface. Then user manual include technical details, and we go on this their website, and you will get user manual as well as technical manual, and it solves solves for scenario analysis and sensitivity analysis, and number of model we can connect with these WIP models like ModelFlow, Quark2, SWAT, and other model result also we can incorporate in these models. And this software has inbuilt calibration tools. And somebody asked same question to me, because this WIP model has a tool named as a PEST, and this PEST tool is used for calibration and validation of our rainfall runoff model. And then it is most important aspect of this model is it is free for NGO and governments in developing country. So for India also this model is free. Otherwise it is this model is provided on charge. But for India it is until now it is a free model. You can just register on website and you can get copy of this model. Then this program is updated continuously, because when there is a meeting, stakeholders, policy and engineer meeting are there, and number of questions are coming, and they try to solve these questions continuously. And so this model is updated at every 1 or 2 months. When you join this WIP forum, you will see that there is number of questions posted by a number of users throughout the world, and also these some question they incorporate in these models. So it is updated every 1 or 2 months. But limitation of this model, it is not applicable for detailed design. So if you want to design any system at very local level, like you have to deal with the problem of flood, urban flood, you cannot use these models because it is only supply demand based model is there. And another main aspect of this model, because before use of this model, one very important aspect of this model is data needs, because it is based on supply and demand. So it requires lot of data. I will give overview of this data, what type of data you require to run this model. So this is one of the limitations. And another limitation is we cannot model reservoir water quality. We cannot account for stream attenuation like because it is running on a daily or monthly basis. So we cannot use it for flood attenuation like study. Such a study we cannot use WIP model. Then this is the website. You can create your account and you can download your WIP models. And after downloading WIP model, you can apply for license. And within 1 or 2 days, after checking your application, they will provide license for you. And it is installation is very easy because click type installation is there. So it is installation guide also available on this website. You can see this. So in WIP, what are the water allocation modeling? As we know, all resources are not available for each user. Then also reach, gains, loss, reservoir storage, consumptive use, return flows, groundwater, soil moisture must be considered in water allocation modeling. So we require a lot of data because all the, we are considering all the sources and demand side. So we require a lot of data in setup of this model. Then we require to set the priorities, appropriate doctrine, first in time, first in right, by purpose. For example, urban demand before environmental. That means we have to set priorities. When by location, whether as we discussed, whether we do priority to upstream area or downstream areas. Then this priority we have to set. Then change in time and location. That means how spatial and temporal changes going to affect our different management options. And all the factors should be modeled in order to track water resources. And this is the WIP-based decision support system structure. This is WIP structures and is coupling with modeling tools. Most important aspect is key input. So for WIP model, we require think about system layout. Then we have to set key assumptions. Then water demand from various sectors. What are different sectors in particular water sale or particular region? And region we require this information. Then demand side management, demand priority catchments, supply resources transmission links. We require this. Then hydrological condition and inflows, catchment hydrology, river flow, groundwater, lake, reservoir, storage tanks, springs, other storage structures, etc. Supply preferences. That means operating rules and policy we require information about this. Then return flows, wastewater treatment, minimum flow requirement, economical variable cost for example, cost of water, cost of transmission, and then we require some database. We can generate our own software to incorporate or create our database for these models. And here we have scope to develop different software, small software packages to atomize our system of data management. Then we can use number of GIS tools like ArcMap, or there are a number of GRASS or other tools are available. We can use to generate different layers, like layers of subwater state and layers of groundwater, soil, and their calculation. We can generate this information using GIS tools. And recently they have incorporated Mabia method in this WIP tool, WIP model, because as we all we know that in every country the requirement of water for agriculture is very high as compared to other needs. So they have incorporated a very sophisticated model known as Mabia, in WIP model to manage irrigation water requirement, and it is advancement over CropVat. Might be you have used CropVat model to manage our irrigation needs. So this is most important development in WIP model, and there are a number of output this WIP model can give, and that are very important to design any decision support system. And key output are database on water demand and supply, simulation of water demand supply, runoff, stream flow, storage, pollution generation, treatment and discharge of river stream and in-stream water quality. Demand side, that is water use pattern, equipment efficiency, reuse, cost and allocations on equal footing with the supply side stream flow. And a number of output you can get with this model based on your input data. Then you can calculate ecosystem requirement, project cost benefit ratio, and a number of what if scenario to frame out policy issues. This is the general procedure we require to follow in WIP models. Basically, we require to set the study area on world map, and then setting up of time frame, that is setting of current year and last year scenario, because current year is the year in which you have information, all the information about supply and demand, and based on this current year database, your future scenario are generated in WIP models, and you should keep this point in our mind. Then creation of schematic, and this is very important point, because creation of schematic, we what water resources or demand side and different point you incorporate in our model, and based on this model we can get our results, or we can get our management options. So after this creation of schematic, next point is creation of scenario for the future and for scenario we require some feature assumption, and then after setting this we can there is a result, and we require to evaluate this scenario, and then generation of result from created scenario. And one important point we keep here, somebody asked me how to incorporate this rainfall runoff model, and in WIP model there is a simple rainfall runoff model we can use, and we require to calibrate and validate these models. But when you have some output from other model, you can skip this step, and you can use directly this in our WIP model. So general workflow in WIP model is we have some hydrologic forecast, historic record data, or stochastic ensemble data, because nowadays we have a lot of data. Ensemble data we are getting, historic record or forecasting data also we are getting, and then we can use this rainfall runoff model like HMS, SWAP, BIC models, and you can use input in these WIP models because this is basically a water allocation models, and these inputs are demand for water and energy, and operating objective and constraint. These are the input, basic input our, and then we get output like value of decision variable, performance indicator, schedule for operation, water accounting data, statistic, and we can generate a report by using these WIP models. And we after getting this output, we can use this output in another software for post processing. We can do with this data, we can do statistical analysis, trade-off analysis, or we can incorporate this data on GIS map directly. So these input, processes, and output I have already discussed. Then most important point, when you want to use these WIP models, I have pointed out this total data requirement to run and use these WIP models, and you go through this. We will go through this slide in very details, because this is very important point, because you should before using this WIP model, you should have good knowledge about input data requirement in the WIP models. So basic input required for this WIP model is watershed boundary map, drainage network, water bodies map, land use LULC map. Then meteorological data required is precipitation, reference input translation, minimum and maximum temperature, latitude and longitude, minimum and maximum humidity, wind speed, altitude, sunshine hours, cloudless fraction, solar radiation. Then data requirement regarding water supply data is when you are considering some rivers in your schematic, then you require inflow and outflow data, basically you require monthly variation of head flow of river, and this data you can take from SWAT, VS, or any other model. You can take this data. So I think you now got that how we can use SWAT data in our WIP models. Here you can use monthly data from other model, and then water quality like BOD, COD concentration data. In case of reservoir, we require some physical data like storage capacity, initial storage, volume elevation curve, outlet outflow, net evapotranspiration losses, evaporation losses. Then regarding operation, we require top of conservation, top of buffer, top of inactive, and buffer coefficient. Then when we consider hydropower in our schematic, then we require information about maximum turbine flow, tail water elevation, generating efficiency, and energy demand. And for river reach, we require inflow, outflow, reach length, and evaporation data. Then for water supply data, we require groundwater data. In groundwater data, we require initial storage, storage capacity, withdrawal rate, recharge rate, and if we consider local reservoir like tank, then we require same data as required for reservoir on the river. Then another data we require is transmission links. In this case, we require linking data, maximum flow volume, maximum flow percentage of demand, supply preferences, and losses. Then water demand data, domestic water demand. In case of domestic water demand, we require annual activity level data, annual water use rate, monthly variation, and consumption. For land use, we require area, crops, soil water capacity, effective precipitation, surface layer thickness. That means soil data of different layers we require here. Initial depletion, and for managing irrigation, we require irrigation schedule, fraction, weighted fraction, then irrigation efficiency, loss to groundwater, loss to runoff, and the data required for soil library is saturation, fill capacity, melting point, coarse fragment, soil texture, that is percentage of sand, silt, and clay, bulk density, percentage of organic matter, texture class, soil profile, thickness, maximum infiltration rate. And another main data required for crop library is length of growth stages, basal crop coefficients, depletion factor, yield response factor, maximum height of crop, and rooting depth. And for irrigation scheduling to generate irrigation scheduling wizard, we require data for irrigation trigger given from fixed interval, percentage of raw readily available water, percentage of total available water, and fixed depletion. And this data we can get from CropVet model, or we can use WIP Mabia model, and we can generate this data. Readily available water, or total available water we can calculate from Mabia model. And then we require data irrigation amount applied, that is percentage of depletion, fixed depth, percentage of raw, and percentage of total available water. And this data we require to generate our scenarios. And then regarding yield, crop yield, we require data on potential yield and market yield. So you have noticed that for using WIP models, there are a lot of data. You can collect this data from different departments, or you can use some data available in government reports. So then we will talk about hydrological model in WIP models. So, hydrological model usually in WIP models are basically the rainfall runoff method. It is empirical based method. Then this WIP model use irrigation, FAO crop requirement. It is CropVet, nothing but it is a CropVet, CropVet model. And then another they have incorporated soil moisture method, and latest development is Mabia method. So when we talk about rainfall runoff method, WIP model use this the equations, and for computation of effective rainfall method, we can use these formulas. And for calculation of evapotranspiration, we can use most physically based model like Penman-Wald model. But you have a shortage of data, then you can use temperature based Hargrave method, and number of software, DSS software available to compute ETOs, and you can use output of this model into your WIP model. So while design schematic, we require what are the different sectoral water demands. So first sectoral demand is irrigation, then ecosystem, domestic water for domestic, commercial, industrial, major city, mining, and livestock. And you require this information while designing the schematic. So we'll talk about WIP-Mabia method in our WIP models. And WIP-Mabia method is used for daily simulation of irrigation water requirement, and it can calculate at daily basis transpirations and evaporation, irrigation requirement and scheduling, crop growth and yield, and reference evapotranspiration and soil water content. And it uses a dual case mirror, and it is applicable for agricultural crop and non-agricultural land classes. That means in crop wet model, you cannot differentiate between agricultural crop and non-agricultural land classes. But in WIP-Mabia model, you can demarcate agricultural area and non-agricultural area. And here you can compute readily available water and total available water and total available capacity. And you can take into account number of soil layers, and that is what soil depth required for growth of different crops. And it also compute different growth stages, and what is the impact on crop growth or yield when we supply or delay water during this period. So it is very good model to plan our irrigation. So this is a bit methodology and data required for this development of WIP-Mabia model. And we require some satellite data, and from this satellite data we can generate a land use, land cover, or soil depth map. Then we require crop and seasonal crop area identifications. We require data for number of crops, and from hydrological point of view, from them we can generate subwater set map. And this generated subwater set LUSC, crop and soil information, you can use WIP-Mabia model, and you incorporate different methodological dual KC irrigation efficiency data and ETO data, and you can compute crop water requirement, discharge data, and demand supply analysis. So these are the KC value. You can use this KC different KC value during dry season and wet season. Based on percent of growing period from transplanting, you can use this readily available value, or you can experiment in your field, and you can see this value from field also. Or if there are some field manual for particular area, then you can directly take this KC value from field manuals. So, sorry. Then the allocation method used in WIP model based on this equation. This is nothing but a mass balance equation. This is precipitation, groundwater inflow, evapotranspiration, discharge, and groundwater outflow. And this is a change in storage. So this is based on this mass balance equation. WIP model use optimization tool like linear programming or another access solver, dynamic solver is there. So it solve dynamic mass balance equation and set allocation for water use to different sectors. And in this case, more demand side water source like reservoir and return flow make the more complex data requirement and allocation calculation. So this also fact you should keep in your mind while development of WIP models. And another aspect is how to add the reservoirs. While adding reservoir data in WIP models, we must keep in mind that reservoir are just another supply source, and reservoir source availability determined by storage at the end of previous time step, reservoir release rules, reservoir inflow, evapotranspiration losses. So these are the different policy rules, flood control zone or conservation zone, buffer zone, inactive zone. So you require this water level data and how they maintain. That means operational rules of reservoir you require incorporating your WIP model. And partition of reservoir and storages. You require this data, and basically these are reservoir data like maximum capacity, total, and all these data this data required to incorporate in your WIP models. And how to incorporate this data in WIP model is shown here. Then in WIP model, first use in stream flow to meet demand side target. If in stream flow inadequate, withdraw from reservoirs. Withdrawal a function of reservoir storage can also assign priority to refill reservoirs. So these are data, or these are the data required for generating different scenario or what if questions. You require this data. And briefly, the allocation method used in WIP. In each time step, WIP solve a small linear programming. I told you that there is two solvers in the WIP model. One is linear programming, and another is XS solver, that is dynamic solver is there. And basically what it does, it maximizes demand satisfaction, that is meet supply priorities, obey demand side preference, mass balance, and other constraints. And these are the pseudocode usually in linear programming in WIP model. And another aspect in WIP model, because it can incorporate ground and surface water relationship. As we know, there are different processes by which groundwater get contaminated, or with withdrawal of water, this water level will changes. But we incorporate different processes or different practices so that we can reduce our pollutions and maintain our water level, so that WIP model provide linking to the mod flow. And you might know that mod flow is a physically based distributed model, and it is very famous model and used worldwide to manage water resources. So you can use output from this mod flow and directly connect to the this WIP models, and basically you will get data of different water levels in different months, and this output is used in WIP model as input to analyze different scenarios. And recently, this year also they have generated GeoLinks, and what it does, this GeoLinks package, it is written in Python, and it generates layers, polygon point, catchment, demand side, irrigation, industry, mining, and wetland, and like this, it generates different layers for you, and you can by using this layer, you can write a program, and you can automatically generate input data to run these WIP models and you can download this GeoLink. It is here is given how to download this, and you can use this link to incorporate in your WIP models. As you know that yesterday, I think there was one lecture on claves, and basically here they are trying to manage agriculture, water, and energy. And for managing energy, there is another model developed by SEI is LEAP model, and this LEAP model can be incorporated with WIP models. And for managing agriculture, water requirement, and biomass computation, another model is agroecological zoning system, and I have worked in these models when I was in Austria, and I have worked with the developer of these models. He is my mentor, Gunter Fischer. He is a developer, and I worked with him in Austria, Luxembourg. So this is a very good research area if anybody want to work with this WIP model to incorporate the climate. And this is the framework of this clue, and how energy, water, climate, and land we can incorporate in management design of decision support system for any water state. And then these are we will go into more detail into WIP models. Basically, in a WIP model, we require study definition. We require study definition, spatial boundary, time horizon, system component, and network configuration. Then we require current account, because one current account, basis of current account, we are generating scenario for the future. In current account, we require demand, reservoir characteristic, reverse simulation, pollution generation, water resource supply, and wastewater treatment data. And based on this, we generate different scenario for demographic and economic activity, pattern of water use, pollution generation, water system infrastructure, hydropower, different things we can, and we evaluate this scenario to provide policy inputs. So this is the WIP models, and as I told, there is a schematic, and this schematic view consists of GIS tool that can be used to configure the system. Icon for drainage component are used to drag and drop component at appropriate position. This is the data view, and here we there are a number of options. This is the where the system data is modeled. We require to input our data using this data view tab, and allow for assumption to be made and can be dynamically linked to Excel, or we can use CSV file. And as somebody asked, we can from output of other hydrological model, we convert it in CSV file, and we directly read this CSV file from this data view. Then another is the result. The result of our model we can see here, and there is a scenario explorer, and on the one screen we can see the different scenario in the view model, and we can generate note for our information. So these are the view of view model. This is schematic view where we generate our hydrological system. Then we input data and we can view this data also. And this is a result view where we can analyze their result. And here we can see different scenario, and we can find answer to our different 40 type questions. So what are the view system element? In design of a schematic, we require a demand side, a set of user sharing physical distribution system, and we get this information from GIS layers also. Then catchment, point created to account for precipitation, ET, runoff, irrigation yield from agriculture, non-agriculture fields. Then reservoir, stream flow gauge, and groundwater nose, and wastewater treatment plant. We require this data, and these are the number of data. And most important thing in development of view model, identify data for system component. First, determine water availability. We require what are the sources and what is the return flow from these different sources. Then identify delivery for demand side. How to we require how we want to deliver this water to demand side. Then allocate water based on priorities to demand side, and allocate remaining available water to meet the target of highest priority demand side. And we require this repeating this state while designing the schematic. Then we require creating system element, and you use this tab, and you can add vector layers and different like river divergence. All these elements you can incorporate by using this schematic, by using this. And most important aspect is defining the time state. And here you put your current year data. And in case of current data, you have all the information. And because based on this current year information, your next year scenario, future scenario is developed. And here you put time state. But one important thing while running this model is when you input daily data here or monthly data here, then you provide a time state here accordingly. You cannot do like this. You put monthly data here and you want to run this model at daily scale. It will not happen. And another aspect in this view model, it works on water year start. Like in our country, our water year generally start on 1st June. So your water year start from here. So it doesn't work from January or December. So you based on water year, you have to select data and you have to put data here. Then for creating current account, key aspect to be defined is key assumption in the system, demand side in the system, and current status of water demand. Hydrology, defining the current inflow into the system, and expected variation, supply resources, supply node, transmission links, and associated cost in running and maintaining, and water treatment plant and associated cost of treatment. And this for creating scenario in WIP, the scenario explorer can be used to create new scenario. Here explorer tab is here, and you can use this tab to generate different scenarios and so delete some previous scenarios. And by using this WIP model, impact of population growth on water demand, in the study, an assumption is made that population will grow uniformly at a rate of 3.3% or any percent per annum, and these you can incorporate in your WIP model. And how you incorporate? There is an expression builder within WIP model, and you have to use this expression builder in WIP model to calculate the interpolated population of each year if the population of the start year is known. And this is a expression builder. And here is a expression. This is a demand side. You can use this demand side. For this demand side is equal to, and you are interpolating based on 2010. You have the 3.75% increase every year. 3.3% increase every year. And for 2010, 3.75. So every year it will increase by 3.3%. And you can use this builder to generate scenario. Another important point is impact of climate change on water resources. If you want to analyze these scenarios, two methods can be used to account for impact of climate change on the hydrology of the system. And somebody asked me how to use data for 21st century. There is a read from file method. And this method is used when detailed forecasts are available and can simply be read into the system. You require to only read CSV file or another water year method, but it is very crude method because for each year you require to define whether it is normal, wet, very wet year, dry year, or very dry year. So there are two options. But when you have good output from very good model, hydrological model, then you can use this read from file method. And when we use this climate change on water resources and water year method, suppose we have set 2010 as a current year, then we want to generate scenario for 2020, then we can set for 2011 wet, and based on our analysis, we can set it is wet condition, very wet condition, dry condition, normal condition, and based on this we can generate a scenario. Or better way, you use first method like read from file method, and these are the results. And in result scenario, you have generated different scenario. Here you can change rate, different rate. So this is most important aspect of WIP model. Suppose we have set 3.3% increase, but suppose I want to increase this rate by 10%. Then we provide this scenarios, and it auto calculate all these things. Suppose you move this tab based on this your movement and different percentage, it automatically generates the scenario, and you see here what scenario you want to see here. You see here what is the changes occurring in your result. So you better informed about your action. If you growth, reduce growth, or you plan different scenario, how your result affect, you can see here. And you can see unmet demands, groundwater storage, how groundwater is going to impact. And you can explore this your result to Google Earth also, because there is some option there. You can use this. Then you can automate this transformation, and you can use a different program to write these CSV files, and you can follow these steps. And you can use Python, R, MATLAB, C++, or Visual Basic, any modeling language you can use, and you can generate this API or tools, and you can loosely couple this with WIP models, and you can generate some user interface to post-process your output. And these are the steps. How much time is left? Hello?
Yes, you have 15 minutes more.
15 more. Okay.
Yeah,
Only 5-6 slides.
Okay.
Because we have time for discussion also, na?
Yes.
So this is how to create new and blank study area. When you open your models, you have to follow this step. I think I will provide some results how we collected data for this Uri River watershed. That I will show for 5 minutes, and then we will discuss. Because this slide I will provide to you, and maybe in afternoon also you have hands-on web model. So these are the slides how you have to set this different layer and area into your WIP models, and how to run this model. So I will provide this slide to you. Read this. And my final conclusion is water resource allocation model consider multiple user priorities and connectivity in the network. WIP is valuable tool for water resource planning and evolution. Easy to learn and use. WIP is very useful for policy decision in water resource management, and it is possible to use GIS layer for referencing and visualization. The integration needs to be enhanced to allow for analysis and map creation. And most important part is the tool has additional inbuilt model like LEAF, agroecological zoning model, ModFlow, and ModPath. This ModPath is used for tracking the pollution in groundwater. So you can connect this WIP model with ModPath also. So this is end of my. I will share another PPT. Another PPT is visible. Hello.
No, sir.
No. Oh, just a minute. It is visible?
Yes, sir.
It is visible, I think.
Yes.
So we applied this WIP model in Wood River Watershed in Tikamgarh district of Bundelkhand, Madhya Pradesh. So basically in this area, we applied this model for Wood River Watershed. And in Wood River Watershed, Tikamgarh, Baldevgarh, Jatara, Palera, and this is total area of this watershed. Total area is around 9,900 hectare. And for this, we collected this minimum temperature for last 30 years. And these are the sources. We have collected minimum temperature, maximum temperature, precipitation, solar radiation, and climate change related data like bias corrected projection, variable by RCP, and different output we have collected from different models at daily and monthly basis from 1960 to 2100 year at 0.5 degree. And we have downscale data from IIT Gandhinagar. And then we collected data about demography, population density. And we have collected this data from villages inside the study area from different sources, from state government, central government. Then we have collected the soil data for different parameters from All India Institute for Soil and Land Use Planning. And we have generated this data from DM, SRDM DEM. We have used. Then we have used list core data for generation of land use land core planning. And we have purchase data of resources site from ISRO. And these are different transport network data we have collected from field, NGOs, irrigated land you are seeing, and these are data. Then we have collected groundwater level data, source of irrigation, area extent of aquifer, agriculture. In case of agriculture, we collected rainfed multi-cropping data, block-wise data we have collected. Then irrigated multiple cropping, livestock density, agroecological zoning data from available different maps. Then we have collected some statistical data requirement at level of district and panchayat. This population total, population by sex, all this data we have collected. And this is a field experimentation. We have collected collection of soil sample, conducting field experimental on soil water properties, and based on various crop soil combination. And we have divided this watershed into 8 sub watersheds. And these are the data, soil infiltration data. We conducted some experiment. We collected data about tanks. Then measurement of discharge and water level in tanks. We conducted some experiment and collected number of these data: stream velocity, water level in pond, soil moisture suction, relative humidity. All these data we have conducted hourly, then converted into daily. And these are the discharge measurement site. This established for river watershed, and these are the different photographs. And we have collected this data from villages, people from village. We use base maps, soil maps, and these number of data like land capability, kharif rabi season, different crop data, soil texture, lithology, forest geomorphology map. And we have used high resolution data and cartosite data, list for data. And these are the land use land cover map. we computed this land use land cover map for river in GIS. Then we have cropping pattern of river watershed, and you can see here from this list for data, we have generated this map for different growing season of crops. You can see here different colors, and this different color nothing but these are different crops like Rabi and Kharif season. So we have data at every field level. We collected field level, then village boundary data also we have collected, and this is Kharif crop with cadastral overlay and Rabi crop with cadastral overlay. Then this is different water resources network, river network. This is canal command area data. This is soil maximum depth, soil texture data. Then soil nutrient map, how K variation in soil, sodium variation in soil. Then different nutrient data, land capability, soil irrigability classification, topographic map, slope map, then forest and geomorphological data, lithology, road map, then population, village boundary, and chloride variation in water, fluoride variation in water for water quality, hardness in data, iron in water, then nitrate in water, pH in water, TDS variation, turbidity in water, and we applied this and at hydrological unit, that is sub-basin, we have conducted this study, and we used the WIP-MAVIA model, and this is the schematic of river in generating in WIP. We have considered all the tanks, because in Bundelkhand area, it is drought prone area. There are a number of ancient tanks, and as I shown there, how to manage this command area of tank, we generated WIP model for this, and these are the codes for and total watershed area for this sub-watershed, and we have considered number of sub-watershed in our study, and these are the crop library. We have considered a lot of crops and typical planting, stage length of this mid-season, late season, and these are the KC factor, depletion, yield response, root depth required for different crops, and we have generated this crop library, and we have based on our experiment, we generated soil library for this watershed, and crop basically we use this crop in our analysis and market price also, and we have generated scenario like current account, reference scenario, and what scenario, and basically we have data for year 2013, and based on this reference scenario, we have seen what is the changes for year 2014 and 15, and we generated scenario like irrigation stage for 10 days. If we initial and development stage, we give irrigation by 10 days delay, then what will be the impact on our plant growth and also yield, and different irrigation scenario we generated for mid-season stage, late season stage, and when we fully supply water demand as per requirement, then what will be the scenario, and these are the results. These are the water demand. Most of the case water is demand, and some watershed because there are 17-18 sub watershed, so some watershed we cannot meet all the water demands, and agriculture, if we consider agriculture watershed, then in which watershed we can fulfill demands, we can see directly from this figure for different years, and we can also manage our farms, like we can compute evapotranspiration, precipitation, irrigation, and depletion, and as you know, because this irrigation requirement at different development stage of plant is very important, because it impacts our yield. So you can get very good results from these WIP models, and you can compute irrigation water requirement, and according to irrigation water management, you can plan different system, like if you introduce micro irrigation system, you introduce sprinkler irrigation system, how you can improve your practices, you can analyze these results in your system, and also you compute this parameter required for irrigation management in WIP models, and you can analyze also if you delay water in initial stage, then how situation of soil or how crop will get impacted. From these results also you can analyze these things, and how crop yield will be impacted due to our different decision. You can analyze these things here, and This is my results. So WIP Mavia model, which is advanced over the crop cat model, where the single crop coefficient approach is used. The dual crop coefficient approach helps in computing separating soil evaporation and transpiration under normal and water test condition. Results show that higher yield for different crops can be obtained by full supply irrigation at 80% readily available water irrigation method and at 100% RAW. Also, results conclude that yield falls marginally below when irrigate using irrigation at 150% readily available water. Results also show that there are other deficit irrigation than full supply where good yield can be achieved. Means it can be adopted for water conservation purpose. So, like this, you can develop different scenario for your analysis and policy. So, I want to stop here, and I invite your questions. Sir, your voice is not audible.
Yes, actually, I'm logged in with a mobile. My computer is still not working.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not able to see the chat box.
Okay.
I would request you to see the chat box, and if there is any question, you may please reply.
Yes, I think a lot of questions.
You have question.
But anybody ask, I will be happy because this question I will answer in the afternoon. I think that I am able to deliver something that they have got something from a presentation.
Okay, fine. Rajneesh, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Is there any that important thing related with the web model? You can read the question first.
Well, one question is asked from Amit Raj. Equation behind that used by WIP model.
There will be lots of equations. Amit, you please that user manual of that web model. You will get all the equations there.
Actually, it is an optimization model. So, how much input data or how you design your schematic based on this your optimization optimal function and constraint are decided. So basically, you require to think on your objective function and constraints. So,
yes, Dr. Kale. Yes, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Suppose if your watershed area is having a fire station, so we can accommodate the water required by the fire station in our study?
Yes, sir.
Fire station water requirement.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because it is other needs we can consider.
Okay, I thought this will be, this will be taken in industrial water requirement.
No, industrial water requirement you can take along with fire requirement, or you can take it separately.
Okay, fine.
And one important thing in WIP, because in case of other models, hydrological models, you require a hydrological unit, catchment area. But okay. WIP models you can use for any cadastral, for village boundary or urban boundary, you can use WIP model, provided that you require data at node. Different node, supply and demand data.
Thank you so much. Yes, we thank you for such a nice deliberation. And our next speaker has joined. I think Professor Dikshit has joined us.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for providing this opportunity.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
You may please leave now.
Sir, one question is there.
Okay, Rajneesh, please.
Can we use WIP model for rainfall runoff modeling?
Yes, you can use because it is based on empirical rainfall runoff modeling is there. But if you want some more efficient result, you can use other models output. But yes, you can use WIP model for rainfall runoff simulation.
Okay, sir. Is it available in WIP model statistical data analysis by any software?
What?
Is it available in WIP model statistical data analysis by any software?
Yes. Statistical analysis, or you can, as I mentioned, you can write some program or use another program for statistical analysis. Statistical analysis is there. Performance indices you can generate in WIP. But if you want another some indices, then you can also use other model also.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you all. I think you have enjoyed my lecture. Thank you. Good day.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Nice. This was a nice deliberation, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.